Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Buck. On this Christmas night edition here, the Detroit Lions officially been eliminated from playoff contention at 8-8 by the Minnesota Vikings, 23-10. Hopefully, New York will be here backstage shortly, and we will talk about a recap of last week, maybe get a little bit of those college games in, and give you the biggest games of this week that's left here on the slate here. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we'll be back here shortly, momentarily, and hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Friday, then I'm back here live. We'll have the Mad New York. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Merry Christmas, there.
Merry Christmas. And my voice is kind of iffy, but I'm gonna see if we can get this done today. Thank you for having me.
Playing through it like a lot of these football players today, playing through injury. Congratulations to your Knicks. A good comeback there over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Did you get a chance to watch that, any?
Yeah, I watched some of that. I was kind of sweating it out. I think with a lot of people, I'm on the same boat. Even though they won the NBA Cup, they haven't really accomplishment-wise. It's still they still need to get into the playoffs and do their thing. But yeah, it's good to see them still on the same page, some continuity, persistence. They're very persistent, which last year was a little bit different, and I'm just glad that they're getting everything out of all the players that they put on the court. Man, it's good. It's a good feeling.
Right. So you're up in New York City, and the Giants will be playing the Raiders this weekend. A lot of talk about the loser has that track to potentially get the number 1 overall pick. And Colin Cowherd made this point that he would, if the Giants for whatever reason get that top pick. We've got Fernando Mendoza coming up playing in the playoffs here on New Year's. He looks to possibly be that number 1 pick. You got Jackson Dart. His play has taken a hit. I can make the argument that, his play, and you just watch it, has went downhill since they got rid of Brian DeBall. DeBall might not be a good head coach, but I do think he was good for Dart's development. What's your thoughts on potentially the Giants getting that number 1 pick and possibly taking a guy like Mendoza, or maybe you should take another look at Dart and possibly trade that pick and get a bunch of picks and build around him with this new coach that they're going to try to bring in?
Yeah, first and foremost, I would try to move and get a GM before this even happens. That's the former part. Second, I would tell the new GM, just sell the pick. You don't need it. You got Dart. He's not under contract. He's not a guaranteed future of the franchise, like some people talk about it here in the media.
Yeah.
Some people have high on him. I don't know enough to be high on a football player like that yet, because the team wasn't that good to begin with. So, I feel like maybe after this second or third season, then you can kind of make your decision on Dart. So, and then these coaches that they want to get, they got to get guys that are going to at least give you 5 years, 3 to 5 years, like we mentioned before, like we talked about this on the show. Like, don't just get some guy that you think is going to be like who wants to be here in New York, or if you want to see in New York. It's not about that. It's about getting some guys with that are not going to go anywhere. So that's the most important
you
part.
Want to sell the pick and just build.
Yeah, man. Just you know me, I'm about building depth and about trying to get more for. You're not guaranteed anything in the draft. These players, they play well in college. Sometimes they can't transition into the NFL game. Sometimes they need to play more reps and go to Canada or play fall, the spring ball and stuff like that, and summer ball, and they just need to be. It just depends on who these players are. I mean, I wasn't big on the pick that the Giants made last year, and it looks like he's kind of not been able to transition easily into the game, and he's not playing that well. And so I feel like just because you're number one status, it doesn't necessarily turn out to be, your future of the franchise type deal. So it took a player like Darno 5 seasons to just get NFL ready. And now he looks like he can be a future for that franchise in Seattle. So, that's just an example for a former Jet pick. So the New York Giants don't need that right now. What they need to do is build the offensive line, build the defensive line, and the secondary, and then just have a better team than they put on the field last year. So,
yeah, take the best available player, trade down to get a 5th, 6th, 7th pick, and maybe get one of those big name players, get one of those Ohio State players, another receiver, another defensive back. Caleb Downs, that kid, he would be good in the Giants uniform, the safety. That could play their defensive back guy. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Speaking of Sam Darnold, this time last week, you cut my lead to 4. Big win for Seattle. Didn't see that win coming back like that. Or you could call it a collapse by the Rams defense playing on that short week like that. Either way, Rams got the win, got in first place in that division. And you cut my lead down to 4. What do you think about that game? Pretty gritty performance 1 week ago.
Yeah, no, what I like is the competitiveness, man. Some of these teams are going out there and competing and giving themselves an opportunity. Where you see the top teams that we saw in the playoffs last season, they're not doing the competitiveness is not in their favor. They're down in their luck and they're worried about these injuries. They're worried about all these things that have happened on their team, and it's becoming not good football to watch. So it was good to see that game was competitive. It was good to see that they played it all all the way through, and it goes to show that in the last few years we've been talking about this, that the NFL, it takes about 7 weeks until you start getting better games, and then more and more people watching the college game. So, we need to see this at the beginning of the season, so.
Right. It was the ridiculous amount of injuries on both squads there.
Yeah.
Great win. That was a confidence builder, if anything, for that young Seattle team as a whole, starting with the quarterback, Sam Darnold, kind of going a little bit time-wise order. It was a big game last Friday night in the college game. Two wins I thought I had there. The college there with Alabama being down 17-0 on the road. Brett Venables, the biggest gripe I've always had on this guy is he lacked any kind of offensive philosophy with his teams as a somewhat young as a coach in his career as a head coach. Venables, the Oklahoma coach, I mean, they just have too vanilla, no type of offense. You want to blame it on John Mater being not quite the same since that hand injury. They've had a lot of time off, and the cleverness of Alabama coming up with no running game, coming back down 17 to win that game. What's your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, I mean, the way it started, you thought it'd be one of those long games, and then just Alabama was going to fall short. But you're right; it became vanilla. It became kind of like I don't know if they were reading plays off of a sheet and didn't want to mix it up. I don't know what the deal was. I mean, people watching the game who knew about football are like, this isn't feel like it's going to end well. And then all of a sudden you see a team like Alabama, you give them one too many opportunities, and they will.
It's big special team.
Yeah, they will make adjustments, and they didn't, like you said, they didn't even have to run the ball. They saw what the defense was giving them, and they was just getting the ball in the air, and we're making plays. And now, for a team like Oklahoma, who usually hangs their helmet on defense, it was a terrible game for them, man. And
terrible collapse. Yeah, that'll be hard for the team, and I think Venables himself to get over there a loss like that. On the flip side, you think maybe that may be the win that keeps the confidence in the Alabama fan base in Keelan DeBoer, and maybe him not going to Michigan after that win.
Listen, he did right by those guys, and those guys did right by him. They're still in the mix, and it's exciting for them right now, and that's all you got to do, man. You just go in there, play football, win games, and everything is positive for your team. Especially in a college team, you can get that energy can get you so far, but at least right now they got it, and they just have to be careful and just go out there and play their game. When you start thinking about what the other team's going to do and not making those adjustments and not changing what like Oklahoma did, thinking that they were just going to keep it simple.
Yeah, playing not to lose there.
Yeah, you can't play not to lose, but you do have to play your game. So, I know it's kind of tricky, and there's a little bit of a fine line for some teams in that, but make some adjustments after the first,
that's a lot of the defensive guys, particularly the older defensive-minded head coaches. That's very common, even in a college game. You could see that. That's why I wasn't so reluctant for Tennessee. I was reluctant for Tennessee to do away with Heupel. I just think he needed to adjust the defensive side of the ball, for example, and he has, because I like his scheme. Offensive coaches are more up to change, per se. Not unless you're a Nick Saban, who was a defensive guy that did change his offense, did go out and hire Lane Kiffin and change with the times and went on to win multiple other national championships. Staying in Friday night. Last Friday was pretty good. I had to work a lot Friday. And, man, you had a great game on. Then you had a great fight come on about 3.5 hours later. I thought it was a good fight. Some people may have thought it was not. I thought, Jake Paul realized he was over his skis. He was outmatched, doing a lot of tackling, falling into the guy. And, Anthony Joshua, you could see him tiring out. And hey, listen, Paul was taunting him, and Joshua gave him the business there. It's a great win there, good knockout. I mean, yeah, Paul broke his jaw in 2 places. Man, he got a heck of a payday out of that. 33 million plus people watched that fight, and it was an interesting fight. I liked it. What'd you think about that fight, man?
What I like is that Joshua was boxing a little bit, and then Jake Paul forced him to box, forced him not to just be a slugger. And, he met his match. Jake Paul made his match. But again, he's one of the only people right now that are looking to move up and get more fights. Boxing's been kind of a black hole in the heavyweight division. And because Joshua's not doing it, he's not looking for more fights. He's just getting into fights, what I'm saying? He's just getting into fights that every once in a while, that his promoter, tells him, which is why he got into this Jake Paul fight. But I like that, Jake Paul called him out, and I like that he went out there. They both fought it out. They both boxed it out, which is for the sport, for that division, and he got his due. Jake Paul got his due, and it was Joshua finally put everything together and started boxing, and that was good. And then you could see that he was getting tired. But look, that's why you go out there and you put it out in the ring, man. All this talk becomes becomes nothing once you're in the ring. And I'm glad that a boxer actually competed and did what he was supposed to do. Jake Paul, I think, should get a little bit more credit, and actually people should start giving him his due for actually going out there and trying to get more matches and trying to be an actual boxer, instead of people seeing that he's an attention getter and he's a tech guy and all this stuff that he does on the side. But give this guy. He's doing the work. He's putting it in, and he finally met his match. But I can see there a rematch coming up, maybe if he wants. If not, he could try to, because he's got there's not that much room to grow in that division anyway. There ain't that many fighters, so it'll be interesting to see what the next step is for both of these guys. To be honest with you.
Yeah, Joseph got paid really well. They said the purse here was like $92 million for a fighter, 74 after taxes for Paul, and Paul actually got more money than Anthony Joshua, because Joshua had to pay UK taxes plus the tax here for the fight. But listen, Joshua still got paid a ton of money. It was his biggest gross fight. Listen, man, it's great marketing, whether you love Paul or hate Paul.
That's right.
These guys really, the fighters that you love to hate, whether it's Floyd Mayweather or Jake Paul or somebody that just strikes some kind of interest in being some kind of tough guy like a Tyson, which that had a lot of views too, by the way. Over 100 million people watched that Tyson fight. It was kind of a scam. But, hey, good for Jake Paul. I mean, I think who it was? Joe Rogan said, though, he's got to be careful getting in these kind of fights here. You can't get some serious brain damage continuing to fight like that and take those kind of hits. I guess he's seen it play out over the years, both in the boxing and, of course, really in the MMA fight. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe I think I like the fact that he has he went with the Hulk Hogan theme. I mean, maybe there's a future in WWE. Maybe he knocks out a few more fights and then he does WWE for Jake Paul.
Yeah, this opportunity is giving him a lot of different roads that he could choose, and a lot of ways he can mark himself now as well. So, and Rogan, he knows he tried fighting too, and it's a choice you make to be in that ring. To you put yourself in the ring against another man. You don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. As much confidence that you can have, and that's part of it, right? That's like, you got to fight your way until the finish, and make sure you don't get knocked. Your noggin don't get knocked off your neck. But look, you get that. That's in any sport, right? You can get hurt in any sport, and that's one of the things that you don't think about. You just go out there and you play the sport, and you hope that you don't get these kind of type of injuries that Rogan's talking about. I mean, I've never seen any athlete compete and say, I hope I don't get hurt. Like it's more like I want to win, and like, I'm on the field, I want to win, and I want to get this trophy, or I want to get this or I want to beat the snot out of somebody because they talking so much trash.
Right.
It's never like, oh, I might hold off on this one match because I don't want to get hurt. Like I'm from the old school, and I used to do this back in the day when we played, even when we played just pickup ball. It's like, you don't ever just be like, nah, I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm just gonna sit this one out. we didn't talk like that. So
nah, it is what it is, man. Let's see. Going into Saturday, I guess we could talk a little bit of the Saturday college games. One of the bigger games, Miami and Texas A&M. I told you guys, I thought that Miami defense would hold tight. If Carson Beck didn't lose it, he didn't. Marcel Reed, hey, he did at the very end. Miami defense steps up, gets a big turnover. That was a tight game. That was my favorite game there. A lot of blowouts between Oregon. I told you guys, I thought that Tulane would be a total disaster there, and both of them were, although James Madison did technically cover. Seth, if you're watching Big from Big Ten and Rich, they did beat them inside. A backdoor cover beat them by 17. But what's your thoughts about that A&M Miami game? Now we got Miami and Ohio State.
I mean, these two teams battled out. I was watching it, and it felt like
man, even though it was low scoring, Yeah,
I felt like the game was like 50, the over on 54 or something. It was just, but nobody scored. It's just going back and forth. It was like a teeter-totter. Nobody scored, like a tennis match. And it's just at the end,
those defenses really stayed disciplined. They stayed their ground,
Yeah,
they
and
stayed their ground and played. They're just so disciplined on that side of the ball.
but Miami was smart of them to make the adjustment to use two running backs, two different types of running backs. One of them that can get shoot up the hole and really fast, and the other one was just as fast but could catch the ball out of the coming out of the backfield. So that was good for them to make adjustments. And then what the guy the running back got about almost close to 200 yards or something, like 180 yards.
Yeah, he had a big run there at the end, didn't he?
Yeah. So
Miami running back.
And then the guy who scored last,
the
kid who scored last fumbled the ball early in the game, and he was able to make it up.
Man,
so that was interesting. It was, I'm gonna tell you the truth, it was hard to stay up for it while I was watching it, and I was just like, trying to chew on snacks and get drinks in my body, but it was because I was just going. I felt like every time I got up to do something, I felt like the other team maybe scored, but no, they just lost a ball in a turnover, and then they're going back. And so it was it was a tough game to watch, but it was good to see those defenses actually step up and play hard, and good for those two teams, and good on Miami for winning that battle out. I feel like A&M, on watching it, I feel like they were the better team, but Miami their offense was better, right?
Yeah, so, a little bit more consistent, not the mistakes there, and you can tell they don't really trust Carson Beck there. Giving the ball to the running backs at the end and not let Beck. Now he can't. They don't have a prayer of a chance to beat Ohio State come next week with that same type of game. They're going to have some short throws in there, get the ball to this Tony kid that's really talented, to even have a shot against Miami. Player for player, I do think they have a shot against Miami or against Ohio State. Rematch of that great 2002 national championship game. A lot of people didn't see, but I watched it all the way. It's a great game. But we'll see how it plays out, man. That's why you play the games. I think they have the players to stand with them, but we'll see. Saturday night, Chicago.
No, I want to say something real quick, and I know we talked about even with the other guys about Tulane. I want to give credit to Ole Miss coming out and just knocking the socks out of Tulane.
Played great, didn't they?
Oh, they played on all, like they did. Special teams was play great. The defense played great. The offense played great. Yeah. The coach Golden is on the right path of starting out this team. It's going to help him a lot. I picked Tulane to win. I thought that what was going on was going to be too much for these kids.
Yeah.
You got the change in the coaching staff. You got all this stuff in the media. You got all these feelings. Your heart hurts and stuff. And that stuff they put that all to the side and play football, and I love it.
Yeah.
I truly love it. So credit to Ole Miss for doing what they're doing. And they were always the bigger and better team, but they had the.
I mean, that first drive, it was like 15-yard plays, man.
But Tulane, you could tell on some of those plays that they were a hot team at one point. You could tell that they were the hot team.
Yeah.
They just didn't have – it's not that they didn't have enough gas in the tank. They just wasn't – they wasn't fast enough. They wasn't big enough. It was just everything about what we didn't want to watch about a team like –
I told you that. That's what I was trying to
so, yeah, but I was I was going on emotion, and I made a back pick, and I call myself out, and I take accountability.
Right, it happens, brother.
But I like it. This could be a good matchup for Ole Miss to go back to playing Georgia and everything.
Yes. I think it will be good early, and then I think Georgia will take care of them later on. Sticking with last Saturday night, it was a slugfest. I know that Green Bay, had some injuries there. Still had a great game plan there. Had that game won. What a great throw. Of course, we both picked Chicago to win that game. What a throw there by Caleb Williams. Pulled a lot of them out of his rear end, but that one come out and wins. Good win for the Bears there. By the way, Green Bay, though, slipped into the playoffs with that Detroit loss today.
Oh, my
I'd rather
gosh.
be
They keep
lucky
getting
than
lucky,
good.
these guys. These
Hey,
guys keep
sometimes it just happens. But what do you think about Chicago pulling that game off last week, man?
So for even last season, I thought Chicago was going to be like in the playoffs. This time they are in the playoffs. They got a coach to help them get there. But again, man, the play on the defense goes sometimes unheralded, man. This defense is, I'm not gonna say they're a great defense, but they're solid. And they make mistakes, but they move past mistakes. And a lot of bigger
optimistic, yeah.
Yeah, they're optimistic, and I like that about them. They need to, they got to clean it up a little bit, but that offense now needs to be more consistent. They need to start the game out a little bit more. They take too long to get going, but it's a good balanced team, and you got to be careful to play this team in the playoffs, man. You just got to And not to talk about Green Bay. Listen, man, it's not that I don't love, but I'm not a big fan of Love. I feel like he's always been a tad overrated, or everybody's telling him, give him a chance, give him a chance. If you're Green Bay, man, just kind of cut your ties, move on. You know what you got. You know what he's about. You want to have 2 or 3 more seasons of this same. He's consistent in being inconsistent. And I'm not sure.
He got knocked out of the game, got leveled.
Yeah, but I feel like you know what you have in this guy. I know you're a small market team, but do something, get rid of him, and move on to another quarterback that can get you past this level, because you're just going to stay with this guy because you don't want to sign another quarterback or get another quarterback. It's ridiculous to me. I don't see him as a top 10 quarterback. And, I know he got knocked out, but besides fixing your O-line, and you gotta know, who your lead, who's gonna come and bring you. LaFleur has had difficulty in getting past the playoffs. Yeah. He's got one of the best records in winning in NFL as a coach. Yeah. Right. So it's like you gotta do right by yourself and be like, go stones and be like, listen, this guy, he's not going to give it to the next level, and just move on from him. I mean, if I was a GM and if I was a coach, I would do that. I just can't give too much more time to somebody who's going to be the same quarterback he's been for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he's gotten better in 3 seasons?
Yeah, he's gotten better, man. And the team's gotten better. They just get ate up with injuries with the line and everything. And
right. I mean,
they got into the playoffs. Things happens to every team. Detroit's out of the playoffs because of injuries. You just got to learn to survive it and overcome. Some teams survive, some teams don't. They're going to be stuck with him for a year or two. They can make some adjustments. They're a team that's owned by the city and everything, and they have to be very conservative with what they do. You probably want to run it back because you got so much talent there, and you got young talent around him that's still coming into its own. They're still developing these these receivers who've got like 1 or 2 years. Like Matthew Golden, he's coming into his 2nd year next year.
Yeah.
And that what's that guy's name? That Kraft, that really good linebacker tore his ACL. That guy, you can build around him. As far as an offensive threat per se.
The best thing that the Packers did was get Josh Jacobs. I mean, not for nothing, but that helped Love look like a better quarterback.
They have to definitely stay with their run. I would try to rock them a running game even more next year.
Yeah, seriously.
And play off that running game, man, and continue to evolve that up. There's so much potential there. There's so many moving parts in that offense that you got to really concentrate on. There's so much talent here. Where do we want to put the most of our plays? Because Jaden Daniel, or I can't remember that. Jaden Reed, I think is his name, the other receiver. He's really talented guy. So you're looking at all these players around. Now Watson's hurt all the time. He's hurt too much, but he's like probably your best receiver, pure production wise, when he's out there. So you got to make a decision as an organization. Like, man, where are we going to do majority of our playbook? How much are we going to spread this out there? And we've got to get it in Love's head that we've got so many players that we can throw the ball underneath to, that he's got to add that to his game, that we want to be maybe more of a West Coast offense and do short passes and do zone block and running, kind of like what the 49ers do. But to blow it up now, you really can't afford to.
You're not blowing it up. You're just getting a quarterback that can actually do all those things you're asking Love that he can't do.
But I don't know what he's going to do with that. I mean, where are you going to get him from? Mac Jones? I don't know. It's easier said than done when you got all this tied up together. He's not terrible enough to move off of. You know what I'm saying?
That's just sad right there. Hey, you have to say that about him.
Yeah, I mean, so it's something that would be my plan for 2026 season going forward. Evolve around this guy from what I got, because you got a great player and Michael Parsons coming back on that defensive side next year too, who you just signed a big contract to. So you can't let that investment go down the drain just because you got an injury. Pittsburgh, Detroit last week, man. You know, Pittsburgh, you never know what team's going to show up. I don't know where they all of a sudden start playing good defense all of a sudden, maybe because Rodgers is pulling the guys together. What's your thoughts about that game, Pittsburgh going on the road like that and really playing well last week, playing well the last few weeks?
Yeah, look, Pittsburgh, not only are they playing well, but they got a little bit of help from the referees.
Well, they get some breaks.
And they catching breaks. So, and then field goals, like their special teams is keeping them afloat as well. So, they're competitive, man. That's the thing. Having Rodgers on that team is giving them a little oomph on the back end where last year they were missing, because the guy's not, he don't quit. You give him, and all he needs is 10 to 15 seconds to ruin your life anyway. So, so when you play scared like that and you're time watching instead of playing the game out, because you don't want Aaron Rodgers to have the next, the ball in his hands for the next few seconds. I think that's the biggest problem. You don't want Aaron Rodgers to have the ball. And your defense ain't set up for that. Your defense, like the Lions defense it's not set up for that. So, when these coaches start thinking like that, I guess that's one of the benefits of having a guy like Aaron Rodgers on your team. You can't give him more than 10 seconds because he can take that 10 seconds.
10 seconds. You mean like just a few seconds?
You can't look. You it's like 10 or more seconds. Like this guy, he's going to change. He's a game changer. So other coaches, they know that, and if I was Detroit, I would have played that game out a little bit, but. I mean,
Detroit's falling apart on their lines, and their back end of the defense is falling off. They was on a third string. You saw
them
it
Lions. Them Lions be lying. Them Lions be lying, Robert.
Well, it's just when you're on that third string, I don't know what it is with these injuries in the league this year. I don't know if it's these Thursday games, if it's lack of training camp. There's something up with the league. It's just too many injuries the last few years. There's something deeper going on. And my guess is it's too many of these Thursday games. It's no hitting in training camp. And it's a combination of everything. Of course, I know there's normal injuries, but it seems like it's over the top the last few years. And it puts out a god-awful product when you have that many injuries, and then you still want to be gritty and play the teams on a short week and these Thursday games, getting the guys' body clocks all jacked up and not giving them proper time to heal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and another thing you see also is that you see more and more players coming into the league who've had injuries in the college and even in high school that are very gruesome injuries. Like and they come back from it and they're still playing, which is okay. But like the quarterback for the Falcons, he had two injuries before he even became
quarterback from Michael Penix.
Yeah, so like it doesn't take away from their talent, but it doesn't help them in the durability when it comes to playing a game on another level with more games also on the back end of that, with more games on the schedule. So
Yeah.
You know, you might have some points, and there might be a little bit more that attributes to that, but I mean that's part of the game, man. Injuries are part of the game.
Yeah, and DK Metcalf. I mean, I don't know what got in him to go over there and want to go back and forth with the fan. You can always talk to security. You can tune these guys out like they're background noise at a restaurant. And now he's suspended this week. And, you know, I don't even know. Maybe TJ Watt comes back. But, man, you know, Cleveland on the road, that's not a give-me game.
No, it's not a give-me game at all.
You know? Wouldn't you hate it if they lost Sunday? And he's a big part of what Rodgers likes to do. What's your thoughts about that, going over there, pulling this guy like that, and the NFL seeing that? And, of course, he's got suspended 2 games. I thought it was idiotic.
I thought more and more people who are athletes were more like followers of LeBron and what he does and how he does his game. And he could have just did the whole thing what LeBron does whenever somebody snaps at him and says anything he doesn't like. He just tells the security guard, yo, get the dude over there.
He does that a lot. And it's more prevalent in the NBA because
and then so like I thought these guys idolized them enough to pick up stuff like even the small things like that. And you hear, I mean, even when we say these things, like, you know, people just chime in on like Twitter or X and Instagram, you know, when people call me out for making the wrong pick, like it's whatever, like, you know, like, you know, I'm not mad. I'm more appreciative, and at least I like, you know, at least I call myself out as well. So it's like,
I need to call myself out. Yeah.
He could have easily just said something to anybody. There's like a million people on the sideline in football, and like out of the million people, there's
he got mad. The guy called him his government name, Holy or what? I forgot.
What's the deal with people in the government name? Like who? Like, like at least acknowledge the fact that guy knows a lot about you, that he's able to call you your name. Like, I mean, And if you don't like your government name, like you have the right to always change it. You know, so like, you know, and if you get mad that your mama's gonna hate the fact that you change your government name, then you should. Then you know what I mean. Like, there's so many. There's so many other things that a fan can do or say to a player on the field, right?
Right. He claimed he said some other things, but the film doesn't say that. And of course, the NFL they upheld that 2-game suspension. So.
Yeah, and then he can't. In the NFLPA wasn't going to jump on that boat.
No,
because of the reaction.
You don't want the players jacking up the fans like that. That's what the police are there for, security.
I just don't understand. Like, I get it. Like, and you know, some of these guys get jacked up for a game and get hyped up. I've been one of those guys when I was younger. I'd like hype myself up and be on angry mode. But I mean, I feel like if somebody threw like popcorn at him or a bottle or, you know, maybe an old jersey at him and be like, you know, you suck.
You can always get security if you get hit with something, you can always get security to do something.
But words, you know, we taught at a young age, man. Let them words slide off your back, you know.
Right. Hey, well, you know what was a great game by Jacksonville. Liam Cohen's coaching is really starting to take shape with this young, energetic team. And I noticed that they pointed out last Sunday afternoon, and I forgot who it was calling that game, but how Trevor Lawrence, Cohen worked on Lawrence's stance, you know, where he's getting the ball out quicker. And we talked about that a long time ago. That's been the big knock on him. He's such a tall guy, kind of a lanky guy, that he's telegraphing his throws and getting hit a lot. And he's getting rid of it quicker. He's getting more confident. He's getting bigger plays down the field. Man, they smoked Denver. I didn't see that because they normally are garbage on the road. What's your thoughts about that?
Baby Jesus Lawrence.
Football Jesus, according to Lamar Harrison's nickname.
He did again, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I like the kid, because he puts the team. Remember, I say this: if the quarterback can put the team on his shoulders and just get 2 or 3 touchdowns, and the team is going to start, moving forward, and then he does that, man. And people don't like it because he's not Dan Marino the whole game, right?
Right.
He's not Aaron Rodgers the whole game. It's the third and fourth quarter. He's like, damn it, there's 14 points.
Yeah.
Let me run the ball for a first down. And then the running back's like, hey, I don't want you to get hurt. Give me the ball.
No,
right?
He's making quicker decisions.
Man.
Giving the ball to ETN. You mentioned the running back. And, they're really getting these guys involved. Yes. And they could be a dangerous team. If they play like they play Sunday, they could be a legit Super Bowl contender. But that's a big if.
Right. And what makes them very dangerous
week out of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, it's what I mentioned before, which is what Denver is too. They're a young team on all sides of the ball. Their defense is young, their offense is young, their special team, and they don't care. Like the game's happening, something doesn't go their way, they're not worried about it. They just go out there and they're young, they're like young puppies, and like and then they're gonna do what they have to do. And that's why teams like the Jaguars and the Denver Broncos are gonna be favored because they have younger teams and they're more likely to make adjustments.
Hungry and they're healthy.
Yeah.
Speaking of young teams, I still can't figure out how New England won that game against Baltimore. Baltimore blew that game.
You and I both.
Up by 11 in the fourth quarter, Derrick Henry. That's another game we both picked and didn't get right. Most people would have picked it the way we picked it. It should have ended with Baltimore winning the game. Late in the fourth quarter, John Harbaugh says, listen, we had a schedule, set of touches for both running backs, and Derrick Henry did not get the ball in them last few possessions there, and it cost them the game. He says that's something he would like to make it, he made a mistake there. He owned it. Lamar Jackson gets hurt late. New England comes back with no running game.
None.
And beats them. Jackson gets hurt. Henry's on the bench, and they lose the game. What's your thoughts about that game last week? How frustrating if you're a Ravens fan.
Yeah, and they were my pick for the Super Bowl, them and the Eagles. And I'm just like upset that they're not even going to be – doesn't matter what they do anymore. It doesn't matter what games they play anymore.
They're hanging on by threads now.
I think everybody has to lose and they have to win their last game or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some talk that maybe this team has, and there's also reports that Lamar Jackson's fallen asleep in meetings, that he's late. You look at that with the injuries. Maybe this team's tuning out John Harbaugh.
Can I say something? Every time I hear about Lamar Jackson, it's like, we saw him at Popeyes eating chicken and he was high. Yeah, he's also
say that. Yeah, I heard that report.
He wasn't even playing for 3 games anyways, and he was trying to make.
I just think he looked hungry. I don't think he looked high. I saw the video. He's a big guy. He's got a huge appetite.
Man, let the guy eat Popeyes, and if he has smokes, fine.
Yeah, I think his friends some friend owned that stand. That was a huge play. That was like my Thanksgiving plate, man. That Lamar plate. I'm still feeling that. It's freaking bloated.
Every time I hear about him, like he's not even playing. He's hurt. Like every time a report came out, he was recovering from an injury. So my thing is this: if you're the MVP of the team and you're recovering from an injury, you don't need to be like being arrested and driving carelessly and being like really crazy. Get the guy's on the break for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So recover, So I mean, look, the team has issues other than the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
The defense is good for 3 quarters. They're not good for 4 quarters, and everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So the one thing that the Patriots have done well, have been able to make with the coaching staff that they have, is make adjustments. They made enough of adjustment to put the Ravens on their heels, forcing them to make plays that they're not good at in the fourth quarter anyways.
Yeah.
And they took advantage of that. And on top of that, the kicking game didn't come through for the Ravens. So,
no, it's not what it used to be. Tampa Bay, Carolina. We both had Tampa. Carolina, they seem like a typical young team. They're still trying to learn how to win and be consistent. They kind of remind me of a poor man's Jacksonville, where you can see Canals coaching and confidence is slowly slipping into those plays. They just can't quite put it together 2 games in a row. But, they can lose to a Saints, but they can beat a Rams. And now they beat Tampa last week in just a nail-biter. What's your thoughts about that game, man?
Yeah, I didn't think the game was going to be
score, but the wrong team.
I didn't think the game was going to be that close, and not, that was one of those games. Didn't the ball hit the field goal post for one of the kickers?
Yeah, and the flip side is that Tampa's deep offense just keeps going down low. It seems like Tampa's finally missed on. They've hit on the last 2 coordinators. Looks like they're going to have to go back to the drawing board in the offseason and go out and spread out a search and get another, kind of like Detroit, kind of go out and get another coordinator to work with. And it's got a good offense there. Look, Abuka's a lot to build around. Kate Otten, those are young players to build with Mayfield,
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers team too, though. Don't sleep on them. That defensive core they have on the back end is what keeps them in games. I've been telling people that too, like that safe the 2 cornerbacks and that safety, they're young and they're fast.
I like J.C. Horn there.
Yeah, they're very fast and they're very competitive, man. They you can't throw on either of them. So
right.
You gotta make sure that they're running that route and make sure that they have the 2 extra steps. But man, those 2 guys make it really hard back there. They don't get enough credit. That's one of the best backfields in the NFL. And unfortunately, you can't go and win a Super Bowl on the back end like that. Because I remember, there used to be teams. Deion Sanders was on teams with a backfield and on the Falcons, and then Dallas Green with the Redskins. They're great, but then the rest of the team, Panthers fans, be grateful you got that defense back there, and you just got to tweak a few things here and there, and you got a good young team coming out. So
yeah, that's true. And I don't know what's going to happen with them going forward. They got a big game. We could start with that game. They got to play Seattle this week at home. Seattle's had a few days to get that Rams win out of their mind. They're coming east to play Carolina. Both teams have a lot on the line. Seattle's got a shot at that 1 seed. Mm-hmm. They got a shot to they still haven't won the division technically yet. They have 2 games left. They could blow it. They could absolutely blow it. So they can't come in here half-stepping and lose to Carolina. Carolina beat the Rams. So, but Carolina, we just mentioned, they need to win. They need to win the next 2. Assuming, Tampa's got to play Miami. So we hope if you're Tampa, you got to win that game.
Right.
That being said, I do not think that Seattle's going to overlook them. I don't think they're too high from the other team because they've had some digested. They had more time. It is an early start time. That'll give a slight edge at Carolina, but I still like Seattle to win this game coming up Sunday, 30-24. Who do you like in that game? It's a long flight there for Seattle.
Yeah, it's a long flight. Both teams coming off of wins. I think they're both going to be tired. If I'm Seattle, I just run the ball. And give them a running game, get it started, and then open it up so that way you can get that defense tired and don't worry about the picks early in the game or any kind of trouble with your wide receivers. So run the ball, man. Just run the ball, and you're at home. You got the home and get the clock on your side, get the crowd on your side, and beat up on this Panther team that you're actually better than. But you gotta let them know that. And I think it's gonna be a close. I think it's gonna be like 24-21. I think Seattle's gonna win this, but okay. I think the Panthers gonna
fight game again, huh?
Yeah. It's gonna be tight. I don't think there's any game the Panthers are gonna play from now on. Even if they go and get into the playoffs, it's gonna be like they're all gonna be close.
Their defense led by this Derek Brown is gonna keep them in. and you could tell there's belief. There's not a lot of talent there, and he's not a lot of size there with the quarterback with Bryce Young, but there is belief in the young man. You can tell with the other players around him, and I give him credit. They hit on that to Terrell McMillan. That receiver there is really came into his own, and nobody really thinks about it, but Rico Dowd's been a great addition, the former Dallas Cowboy at running back for the Carolina Panthers. He's money. I think he gets a big bonus. If he gets 70 more yards, he's going to get like $1 million bonus next Sunday.
And Robbie, you hit on it. There might be belief, but the difference between these two quarterbacks is that Bryce Young has always been a winner at every level.
The big winner in Alabama, absolutely, and he's huge in high school as well.
Yeah, so he's. I feel like he's more apt to try to make better decisions, and that's the reason also that these teams that he'd be able to keep in the game with some of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell this the way his teammates act around him, that there is some love and respect, and they're out to willing to play their hearts out for the little guy, quarterback wise. Listen, this Ravens-Packers game, Ravens still got a prayer, unfortunately, but Tyler Huntley's going to be playing for the Lamar Jackson's doubtful with this deep contusion or whatever injury he's got. And they're average of 7 points less per game. And this game is played in Green Bay. The flip side is we don't know if Jordan Love's going to play. He's been limited all week, but that's a good what do you call it? That is a good sign that he could potentially play this weekend. I think Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. They're 3-point favorites in Lambeau Field. I think that they'll probably win this game 26-17, Green Bay, because this Ravens team, you just can't trust them. You don't know what they're going to do, And the fact that they're 7 point less average per game with the Huntley in there and that offense, a lack thereof it, well, you stop Derrick Henry and you got him. So I think they got the talent and the right game plan to beat Green Bay. They should, because Green Bay's got their own problems with injuries. What do you think about that game? It's not going to be – I don't have a lot of faith in it either way, but it's technically a big game.
Yeah, this game is going to be determined by what team stops the run better.
Right.
And they can't make up for Parsons missing, and then the Ravens can't make up for their offensive players in and out missing.
Oh, well, yeah.
So
Jackson's probably not going to play.
So if Huntley, all the plays that Lamar does, the coach said that he can do. I'm sure he can do it, but he can't do it to the to the best that Lamar does. But regardless, I don't feel like their offense is out of touch with Huntley there. Yeah. The 7 points makes a little bit of sense for two reasons. I feel like they stay on the defensive too long, and they don't get Huntley and the offense back on the field for the last games. So if the defense can pick it up a little bit better, and they'll be able to against this Green Bay Packers, I think the score is going to be flipped. I think the Ravens are going to win this, and it'll be like 27-14, like something like that. So
okay, yeah, if it's in Baltimore, it'd be a lot easier to pick. You might be right. I just picked Green Bay. They're at home, and Huntley being there.
Yeah, I don't like you don't trust the Ravens. I don't trust the Green Bay Packers, and I haven't ever trusted the Green Bay Packers. So
it's hard to trust this Raven team. It's hard to trust the 2025 Raven team. They burned me 1,000 times this year. Other than that Cincinnati game, they ain't played a good game all season. They shut out Cincinnati earlier this week, and then they give up all these unanswered points. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, I feel like this game when it's cold, Mark Andrews plays better. Guys like
that's true.
Yeah, and then the wide receivers, for some reason they catch the ball better.
Is a bright spot for him. Yeah. I really like him. He's really played well, Andrews, they kept him on, although he's had big drops and cost them a lot. And Henry's fumbled a lot. But other than that, I still got to trust Henry. He also wins a lot of games and shuts them out for you. Yeah, if I'm them, I'm just running the ball the whole time and making great and saying my defense is deeper than yours and more healthier, and we'll play field position and win 13-10. You know, that would make our game plan if I'm the Baltimore Ravens. But I got a feeling Love's going to play and they're going to end up winning.
Well,
you know,
even if they play
like that defense, and it's going to be Love versus.
I think the 7 points they'll make up with that defense, Kyle Hamilton and all those guys back there, they're going to make at least one big defensive play. So for
yeah. Well, possibly. I mean, maybe Love don't play. I don't know for 100% sure he will. But it is. I don't have a lot of faith in that game one way or the other. Chicago, San Francisco also play. Chicago got a shot to win their division. San Francisco, of all teams with all those injuries, they got a shot to win the 1 seed. If they win out, because remember, they beat Seattle early this season. They split with the LA Rams. They are really clicking on all cylinders from an offensive standpoint, although it looks like George Kittle's banged up and might not play. I like their run defense with the 49ers. I don't know who all is going to be back. Maybe the Bears get Luther Burton back, but I know Rome Odunze looks like he's got a foot injury. It's been bothering him for a minute. They got some depth there in Chicago. We'll see how that plays out. That being said, love that running game by this experienced 49er team at home. This will be a good game, man, but Caleb Williams going off script too much. I don't think it's going to work out well for him, even against this defense. It's not 100. It's not great, but it's good enough here lately. I like the Niners at home, 27-24. This will be a good game, though, and they get the win. What do you think about that game being played out in Santa Clara, Bears, 49ers?
These both teams have the same standings, 11-3.
Yeah, really good, ain't they?
I think that this game is going to be closer than people give it. Some people are saying, I think the spread is 3 and it's over 50. But what I think is it's going to be a kicking game. This is going to depend on the kicking game. This game's going to be like 32-27. Either team can win it, but it's going to be a 3-point. It's going to be a field goal win for whoever wins it. Since it's at home. And they're coming off a win against the Colts. They're pretty hyped up, and the coaches' staff has been good at making these adjustments. I'm gonna give this to San Francisco. I'm gonna say,
I thought you go Chicago.
I'm gonna say 32-27. Chicago is gonna lose this game.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Indianapolis is playing. Indianapolis is technically still in it. I don't know how.
Phillip Rivers, bro.
Phillip Rivers. Jacksonville coming off that big win. Are they going to be too high coming back off that win and going on the road against Indy? I still think Jacksonville will probably pull this game off. I did read a stat that teams that are coming after they play Denver, they're 3-11 the next week playing against the next team. But the Colts are so banged up, and Rivers – he's okay, but he's not crisp as he used to be. I like the Jags, but I don't think they're going to blow them out up in Indy, 27-21. And they'll put the Colts out of their misery. It's unfortunate for the Colts, man. They got off to such a good start, and things just fell apart for them as well. What's your thoughts about that game? Both, of course, Jacksonville still – they're looking to win the division and possibly get one of the higher seeds as well.
Yeah.
Possibly. They don't want to say I'm mistaken because they did beat Denver.
Yeah, and this is a divisional game too, so they win a division playing this game.
Yes.
Jacksonville will win this game about 27-20. I give it 27-21. I think Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
I think Phillip Rivers will be able to get at least 2 touchdowns, if anything, like not a problem. And then they got a good running game no matter what. So, but I think it's gonna be close for the first 2 2 quarters, but then that's where the Jags youth and football Jesus will come out and pull this game
There
off.
goes my hero.
Come out of
1999 Varsity Blues. Houston, another team fighting for that same divisional spot. The team that leads NFL in least points allowed. Been very impressive with this Texans defense. The Chargers, I don't know how they keep winning, man, with all these injuries on their line. Harbaugh's just a well of a coaching job this year, as usual. I don't know why they're favored in this game at LA. The Chargers favored by 2.5 points. But I'm going to say the defensive line for Houston beats the offensive line for this LA team 27-24 because the Chargers are freaking tough. But Houston still wins. And they're right there for this wild card and division as well. What's your thoughts about that? Might come down to week 18 between the AFC South.
This is a huge game for Nico Collins.
Yeah, I love Nico, man. It's great.
He got to come out and he got to get his catches. They got to give him the ball. They got to spread the ball out over there in Texas. I don't know. I mean, these Chargers, man, like you said, they just keep finding ways to win.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. They got to respect them. They get their wins, and they're at home. So I feel like some of the times the wins that they get at the home have been very close.
You like the Chargers in this game?
Yeah, I feel they're gonna. It's probably gonna be like one of those games that's like 32-27. This will be close to. This will be.
You like LA? That's the first time you picked LA all year.
Yeah, and the problem is I don't trust. I like the defense from the Texans. I don't trust their. Can they score more than 21 points against the Chargers?
We'll find out. Maybe it's 17-14. You never know.
Yeah, but the thing is with the Chargers, you got to score the 27 points because Herbert can go and make that a game. That's a problem.
Yeah, he's got this glove on. Somebody was showing it on TV. It looks like something off the Terminator, a little Terminator hand. You know what I'm saying? Last but not least, I think this will probably be the game of the week. Philadelphia, Buffalo, Philadelphia really fight for seeding. I think they have an outside shot on the 1, but it looks like they're going to end up likely with a 3 seed. My guess is. And Buffalo still got a shot at their division, believe it or not. The Eagles, they probably won't have Lane Johnson. It looks like they're going to have Carter back there. This game will be played in Buffalo. Buffalo's a 1.5 favorite. I know that Josh Allen got a little banged up there last week, but it looks like he's going to play. But as long as they got Matt Milano and Joey Bosa there on the defensive side, I don't know if I can trust this Eagles team from half to half to make the proper offensive adjustments and to exploit that lack there of run defense that we know that Buffalo has. So I like it in Buffalo, 23-20. The Bills pull the win off and another gutty performance to win at home. What do you think about Eagles at the Bills Sunday?
I agree with you. The adjustments, they're not doing very well. And it's going to be cold in Orchard Park. I'm not sure if it's the snow.
Maybe some spit and rain or slight light snow.
Yeah, if they get a little bit of sleet in there, I think this is their Super Bowl, though. This is the Bills Super Bowl. They're gonna win, and they're gonna be like, yeah, we beat the Super Bowl champions, and they're gonna be happy, and then they're gonna lose in the playoffs like they usually do. So I mean, I don't.
What's the score?
Probably like 17-14. I think it's be low scoring.
Bills win 17-14.
Something silly, something just obnoxiously weird is gonna happen. It's Orchard Park, so it's not gonna. It's hard to play there if you're one of those.
Merry Christmas, wicked social.
even though Philadelphia's an outdoor team and they play in Philly, something about Orchard Park just it's not a fun place to play for the players or for the visiting team. So.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Titans destined to go under 300. The Titans, they got a game against the Saints this weekend. Glad playing hard, and hopefully they'll catch some breaks and get a higher draft pick. There's a lot of tiebreakers out there for them, but they're playing hard and they're we're just getting better every single week. And the chemistry's there, and they have a lot of money in cap room, so they have a lot to build on. They just got to get the right coach,
Ouch.
So, anything else you need to plug? That's it, man.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my voice to get better, and hopefully I can do this show in the next few days because
another baseball show.
It's getting crazy, man. It's getting crazy here in New York land. All these players and all these happenings with these. It's a fun time right now. So,
fun time. You had to go back and listen to the show, brother. Not sure about that. I got the Ravens losing this week and get put out of their misery. The Mad New Yorker has them winning and hanging on by a thread, but I don't know. The Steelers will probably find a way to beat them in Week 18 anyways. That'll be an interesting storyline to follow.
Yeah, but the biggest problem is that they have the best team on paper. So anybody who's out there and they're like, okay, let's see what we can.
I don't know. I mean, don't you think like the Eagles are the best team on paper?
On paper? No, I mean I'm talking about the best team on paper that's playing underneath what they're supposed to be playing. Underperforming. They're the best team on paper that's underperforming. I mean, you got three guys that should be, that are in that top. You got five guys that are in the top fantasy league picks, like on the Ravens team. You got Lamar, you got the wide receiver, you got the tight end, and you got the running back.
You got Derrick Henry gets a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, Zay Flowers. So, I mean, I guess if you go,
I think he made the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah,
again. So
it's not. Again,
I think maybe Harbaugh. You got to look at Harbaugh. Maybe they're tuning him out. Maybe listen. Andy Reid got fired, and he did better when he got a new location. Maybe Harbaugh's just ran his course here, and he needs a change of scenery, and so does the team.
Yeah,
the Costa's been great roster construction, but it just seemed like it just didn't click. And I do like the Costa too. That's their general manager who replaced the great Ozzie Newsome, who's one of my favorite general managers of all time. So,
I think just for the Ravens, the hardest thing for them is the fact that Lamar's in and out of the lineup, and those 7 to 14 points cost you.
That don't help
in close games, So,
well, I hope to see you guys next week here at the same time, same place. Happy for Madden. Appreciate you coming on, buddy. Have a good night.
Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, folks. Hopefully, I'll be back here next Thursday with the Mad New Yorker. Got some extra work to do on New Year's Eve. You all have a good night. Enjoy the show. If you like the show, share the show. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Hopefully, here on The Real Sports.